Herman Cain is back in the picture. He had an interview with a local CBS station, and during the interview, he thought that he would talk about where he stands in his relationship with his wife. Drama. So let's watch.
My wife is doing marvelous, thank you. We were blessed to have our fourth grandchild on New Year's Day. So 2012 has gotten off to a great start for my wife and I. She is doing fine because since I got out of the race, we don't have to constantly hear the spinning and the respinning of those false accusations. And so you're absolutely right. From that standpoint, she's great.
Honestly, pulling out of the race was the best move he could make because there's no way he was going to win. And also, at least he managed to salvage his relationship.
Right, and he went out not while he was on top, but at a point where he could still say, oh, no, I was doing really well, and I was, you know, in his famous words, I was in the Final Four, and there were going to be so many more accusations. He wasn't going to win anyway, and he got it out in a point where at least he can continue to plausibly lie to his wife, and his wife can go, oh, okay, whatever, I mean, we've been in this far.
Right.
By the way, Herman Cain also said she's very supportive of this national movement that I'm going to be launching later this week. I was like, what national movement? This guy was supposed to endorse someone,
right?
And he didn't endorse anyone because he doesn't know who to pick. It's just like Steve King, who's a conservative congressman in Iowa. They want to pick the winner, right? Because they're like gross politicians who are like, ooh, how can I get favors? Yeah, I mean, if I pick the winner, I'll be in good. Yeah, precious, right? But they can't figure out who's going to win, so they just sat on their asses and didn't do any endorsements. Herman Cain's like, my endorsement's coming later. I want everybody to pay attention, and it might surprise people.
Right.
Later, when I figure out who's going to win, that's what I'm going to do my endorsement. And what national movement? The only movement you've got is the movement in your pants.
Well, I was about to tell you. I thought you heard about this. I guess you didn't see the news breaking, but it's a pro-sexual harassment movement.
Oh, is that right? Okay. Could you imagine he launches that? He's like, you know what? I'm in favor of sexual harassment. I'm just going to come out and say it. Okay. You know who might agree with him? Unfortunately, Ron Paul. Because Ron Paul has said, you know what? If you get sexually harassed, I question the morals of the harasser, which would be Herman Cain. But I also wonder, why you made the choices you made. Like, so blaming the victim a little bit. And he says, and if you got sexually harassed, why don't you just quit?
Look, it's not the government's business. The government shouldn't get involved when it comes to sexual harassment cases or rape cases.
Yeah, the government shouldn't get involved in anything. Cops, you got rapes. Well, I mean, I question why you were out in the streets, and you really want the government intervention of the cops? Why didn't you go, take justice into your own hands? I mean, look, Ron Paul doesn't go that far, but he does with the sexual harassment at work. I mean, he says government shouldn't be involved. It's not that much of a jump. And in fact, maybe that is Herman Cain's endorsement, Ron Paul. That's why it'll surprise people.
No. He says that it's an unconventional candidate. The only one who's an unconventional candidate is definitely Ron Paul. It's definitely not Mitt Romney.
In this case, he can go back to doing all the sexual harassment that he was doing already. Herman Cain can. And like the move that he did in the parking lot, remember? He was with a woman in the parking lot, and he's, oh, yeah, if you come with me, I'll get you a fancy hotel room. She's like, yeah, I'm not interested in a fancy hotel room. And he went right underneath her skirt.
Yeah, that story never ceases to amaze me. Like, I've heard it a million times at this point, but like, God, the balls on that guy.
Yeah, and by the way, she wasn't even working for them at that point. He was saying, if you get, I can get you a job, and then he went for the move, right? And Ron Paul would say, yeah, why don't you just quit? But she's not working for him. So maybe that's who he's going to endorse.